All right. This time we're doing something a little bit different. We're not going to do a Rotten Tomatoes game. We're going to play a different game. This time we are playing how much did this movie cost? Whatever the critics think, screw them, because this episode is about cold hard cash. That's right. And Mel,
I never look at the budget of movies.
We don't have cash, but we like it. That's the thing, isn't it? So let's talk dollars. So Downfall.
Yes.
If I had to ask you what you thought the budget of the movie was,
Yep.
What would you say?
I'm going to say, because there are some warish scenes and there's a lot of people in it, really.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's not a small movie.
No, it's a big movie. So I'm going to say 80 mil?
$13.5 million.
What?
Very, very cheap.
How?
So I think we can both agree, even though the movie's set in a small location, there's a breadth to it. You know, there's lots of external scenes of Berlin and the war.
But
and
they filmed at multiple locations, including St. Petersburg. Like, just the travel budget, I would have thought.
Yeah, no, it was very well done. I mean, they squeeze as much out of that budget as they could. I mean, the film looks very expensive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did very well. So, yes, they $13.5 million budget. And the total box office that it made was $93.5 million.
So very successful.
It is, yeah. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go through a list of World War II themed movies.
Okay.
Right? You'll have seen some of these, I've no doubt. You know, let's face it, as many World War II books as there are, there's a hell of a lot of World War II movies.
There are.
So what I'm going to ask you what you think it cost to make that movie. And we're going to see how you do. Right?
Okay.
And don't worry, I'm not going to be like to the number. We'll give you points if you're within the ballpark. We will decide that as we go. Right. This is not a democracy. It's more of a dictatorship. This bit. So we're going to start off. I'm going to start off at the bottom of my list. Actually, we are going in order of gross. So this is the lowest grossing movie on the list. Jojo Rabbit. Have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
I love that movie. I think I saw it with you.
With Taika Waititi and Scarlett Johansson.
Yes. We
might have seen it together. I think it's a 3-star movie. It's a good movie.
I really enjoy it. I think it's very, very clever.
Powerful, I thought, you know, especially towards the third act. I thought there's some very good stuff in it. And there's a certain theme in that movie about mocking Hitler that's also done throughout many movies.
Yes.
So, Jojo Rabbit, how much do you think that movie cost?
I think that was quite cheap.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say maybe 20 million.
Yeah, I'll give you that. $14 million. Dollars. That grossed $86.8 million at the box office. So pretty...
That's a very solid.
Pretty successful. So yeah, I'm jumping up through the list now. Shout out if you've seen any of these. Have you seen The Pianist?
Yes.
The Polanski movie. 2000, not allowed to talk about him. 2002, December 27th, it was released. Quite a powerful movie. Very solemn movie, of course. It's about one of the darkest aspects of World War II. So I have to ask you, how much do you think The Pianist cost to make?
So it's got to be more than the last one. So I'm going to say 25.
Yeah, I'll give you that. $35 million. You're within 10. I think I'll maybe draw a line at 10.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll give it. That's pretty good. So Pianist was $35 million. 2002, it made $111 million.
And he got the Oscar for Best Actor.
Director. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. No, didn't it win both? I'm pretty sure.
It might have won both.
I think it won both,
couldn't remember because you've got the Halle Berry kiss at the Oscars.
Which is kind of inappropriate now, right?
It definitely doesn't meet Me Too standards.
No.
And she didn't look like she was consenting then either.
No, she was not. That is not
It's just like, dude.
I mean, yeah, you see Adrian Brody force a kiss on one of the most probably wanted and gawked at women in movie history.
Yeah.
It's a little inappropriate, isn't it? I mean...
Yes, completely inappropriate.
But everyone kind of cheered and it was kind of awkward. It's weird. That was very strange. I think the next year when because, you know, he has to present the award next year. So when Adrian Brody came back in 2004 to present the Best Actor or Actress award, I think it's Actress, he did say that I'm not going to kiss anyone this year. So I thought that was quite funny. There we go, yeah. But yeah, Polanski winning the Oscar, that's an odd one today, isn't it? It's a bit strange to think about that. Let me go up the list, actually. Darkest Hour. It was the Winston Churchill movie starring Gary Oldman.
Yes, I have seen it.
Ah, yes. Okay. So Gary Oldman's amazing. I mean, he aged a lot for that movie. I mean, to be
It's amazing what makeup and everything can do.
So, yeah, he smoked cigars for 10 years to play that role. Unbelievable. So it was released November 22nd, 2017. Now, what do you think the budget for that movie was?
I'm going to say 65.
Oh, I can't give you that. $30 million, which is quite cheap when you think about it, although that movie's a pretty indoory movie.
It is.
I think makeup was 29 million. I think that's what that was. But it did very well at the box office. It made $150.8 million worldwide.
People love movies about Churchill.
He's a big figure, isn't he? Yeah, I think we haven't done a Churchill movie. I don't know if we're going to do that. Do you think we'll ever do a?
Probably.
Maybe?
We'll do. There's so many. It's about getting the right one.
Brian Cox, Gary Oldman. I mean, these guys, I felt like they were born to be Churchill, weren't they? Brian Cox, I haven't seen his Churchill movie. I've heard it's bad, but boy, him doing Churchill sounds right up my street, I must say. All right, so let's go to February 17th, 2014. We've both seen this movie, The Monuments Men.
Right, everyone saw that.
Everyone saw that. That's why it's so high on the list. All our ticket sales are in there. So this was the
George Clooney movie.
Bill Murray was it? It was Matt Damon was in it.
They were all in it.
Yes,
huge cast.
Everybody just had a holiday, I think, in that movie, and
they all went to Europe.
And it's about. I think on paper this movie should be brilliant. It's like the art finders, the art hunters.
Yeah, they're basically civilians who are helping out,
finding all the stolen.
Yeah, and they're in uniforms.
That's right. It was cool idea. I thought the movie was pretty rubbish, I have to say. I wasn't a fan of the movie.
It's not great.
It's not.
Could have been done a lot better.
I was pretty surprised.
Kate Blanchett's in it too.
I should have loved it, but I just didn't take it.
It's also a really important story to tell.
I just don't know why I didn't like it. I just think
it's not that good.
It's just not that good. That's
because it's made by Americans.
That's the kind of criticism
They
you
don't
get
have the subtlety.
You know the way we talk about being critical? It's just not good. That's my critical line. I don't know why. But I have to ask, how much do you think it cost?
Okay, so it's George Clooney. It's a big cast. It must have cost $100 million.
You're not far off it. I can't give it to you, but you're close. $70 million. Now, I thought about that, and you're right. That has got to be because either somebody's walking about with $69 million in their pocket, or George Clooney got a massive payday for this. Because I do not know how that movie cost $70 million. I don't remember it being particularly like.
What do you mean? The cast?
I suppose so, but I feel so
Look
much.
Look at the cast. They're expensive.
I suppose yes, that's true.
They're really expensive.
But I don't know. It's just not on the screen.
It's not good value for money.
No, that's what I mean.
It's really bad value for money.
Like. Because I feel like so much of the movie's in a cave, or you know what I mean? It's just like walking about in a cave going, well, there's a painting over there. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it should have cost that much. Yes, so Monuments Men, $70 million, $158.7 million worldwide. So I don't know.
That's still solid.
Yeah, 70 million though. I mean, it's a lot of money up front to pay for the movie, and then
you still doubled your investment. It's a commercial success.
I guess so.
But the problem is we wanted it to be better.
I did. That's
our problem.
That's the problem. Is that
our
it should be good.
expectations were really high.
Yeah.
And the movie is fine. Like the movie's not horrible, but we wanted it to be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. It just isn't that good. So I'm gonna go up through my list. Let's do this. We're gonna run through these now. I have a big list here, Mel. There's a lot of World War II movies.
There is.
So we have to go up. We have to go to our old friend Baz Luhrmann. Australia.
Right.
Which I guess you could, in theory, say it's World War II because at the end, the third act is a kind of World War
Japan
II.
bombs Darwin in it.
That's right. Yeah, that was right. I mean, I didn't know that until I saw the movie, and then I realised, my God.
I went to Darwin for a holiday when I was a kid. I knew that.
I imagine there's not much there to bomb back then. I don't know. I mean,
it was a huge Navy base.
Was it? There we go. I didn't really know that. This is why I'm from Ireland. Now, the movie came out on November 26th, 2008. Probably Luhrmann's least, critically acclaimed movie. Easily.
Now, I thought this was the most expensive movie made by an Australian ever. And I think people were expecting, because I think it got tourism money or government money. It was going to be used to promote Australia.
Remember there was ads about it as like a tourism
come visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But it's just not very good.
Yeah, I am very curious to revisit it. I didn't think it was too bad, but I would have to say that I suppose when we think back to 2008, I mean, people were thinking this must be the Titanic of Australia, and it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Because they made the critical mistake of not killing off Hugh Jackman's character.
Right.
Now, apparently Baz wanted to kill him off, and when they did some of those the test screenings, it got so bad that they kept him there. And I'm like, that means you're onto something. People hated the fact that Leo died in Titanic, but that's one of the things that makes it a classic.
That's true. You remember that because it's tragedy. You see, tragedy is important in these types of epics, isn't it?
So there's no...
You need the tragedy. It's a fascinating movie. I haven't seen it since 2008, and I will revisit it. I didn't hate it. One thing that people seem to respond to or deflect against when they saw the movie is because Lerman embraces a campy melodrama to everything he does. And so there's this aspect to like Australia that I think it was the first time people had felt uncomfortable with both this epic, sincere, grand storytelling that's also kind of melodramatic and ironic at the same time.
See, I didn't have a problem with that.
That's interesting, yeah.
And maybe also because like I like Baz Luhrmann's work.
Yes.
And he does play around with those tones in various movies.
That's so true.
So I was expecting that. Like that's what Baz does.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I like that too. I think we both agree on that. It's just interesting. I find that's a fascinating aspect to that movie. I think a lot of people repel against it because they're uncomfortable with that balance.
Yes. Yeah. Which means Baz is probably just not for them.
I think that's true. Because I think he was kind of playing at the kind of a director for everyone in the world level. Do you know what I mean? Which means
you're a director for no one.
That's right. You know, like, because James Cameron is kind of that guy, isn't he? He's kind of a director for no one and everyone. He's just kind of blanding his way through.
But he's not, right? Like, Cameron, Titanic is a genius because while there are bits for lots of different people, they're done with such specificity that it's interesting.
Yes, right. And I agree.
Baz doesn't do that.
Yeah. I think Baz...
His becomes blander. It loses its colour and its spice.
Yeah. I think Baz Luhrmann is a very artistic-minded auteur director trying to be David Lean. And he's not David Lean, you know.
But also his stuff is better when he is more him.
Oh my God, so true. It's when he kind of chickens out on being him that I get lost, nearly.
Yeah.
You can almost see him afraid to be himself.
It's the same for the movie Elvis. He chickens out from being himself.
Yeah. I mean, we disagree in that movie. I know we do. But
I'd say it's the same with
I think Great Gatsby.
The other one with Gatsby.
I think Gatsby is definitely that. I think Gatsby is way too formal.
Yeah.
For what he wants. You can almost tell he's frustrated with Gatsby.
It should be more wild and uglier and vulgar. Like, This is the decadent 20s. You should get a better sense of some of the decadence.
He's very disciplined in the movie, and I find
with
that...
With the drugs and the alcohol and all that sort of stuff, and it's not.
It's not. It's very, like, formal and...
The party scenes are too tame. It's just...
It's a bit dull, really, isn't it? Yeah, I agree. I think we're on the same page. So, did we talk about... I know we've went on a big rant.
You didn't ask me about the actual budget for Australia, though.
We just go, this is the Baz Luhrmann portion.
I think it was a huge budget.
Yes.
So, I'm going to say like 300 million.
Can't give you that, unfortunately. 130.
Oh, okay.
So, it's not too bad. Although, like, you're right, though. It's still, at the time...
It was huge.
It was the most expensive film in the country at that time. Like, nobody had made an Australian movie of that size.
No, and haven't since.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to keep going.
Box office? What did it actually take in?
Sorry, apologies. I should do that, shouldn't I? Keep me on track, Mel.
I will.
So the box office was kind of paltry. It was $215 million, almost flat. So
it made money.
It made money, but it's not
great.
Really even doubling its budget.
No.
And then on top of marketing, I mean, it would have cost a fortune on top of that. So rolling up the list, we're getting into some of the highest grossing movies, of course. We'll roll through these. The English Patient.
Oh, I love this movie.
November, I thought you did.
It's beautiful.
This is why I'm bringing this one up, actually, because I think you...
And it's a proper tragedy.
It is. That is very true. November 15th, 1996. Kristen Scott Thomas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
She's fabulous in it.
Very good. So what do you think the budget was?
Well, it's got to be more expensive than Australia.
Oh, really?
Well, you said we're going up.
Oh, sorry, let me rephrase.
You've changed the rules?
No, I haven't changed the rules. No, hey, I have the... No, I'm joking. I have the rules sorted out. What we're doing is we're going up in terms of what it made at the box office.
Right.
But
So
we're not,
it could be...
So we're not going up in terms of budget.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so the budget could be anything.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I should have clarified.
No, that's all right. Okay. I don't think this was that expensive to make. It feels grand. It feels epic. I'm going to say about 50 million.
50 million. I am going to be kind. I'll give you that. It was $35 million.
So that's good value for money.
Very good value. I suppose $35 million in $1996 because we're not doing inflation, but that's still pretty good. It was, it looks good. Anthony Minghella, his movies look good. That's the thing about him. It made at the box office $231.7 million worldwide, which is really good on a $35 million budget.
And it dominated the Oscars too.
I did, yeah. It was huge. That film's everywhere. I mean, that film got a whole Seinfeld episode about it. I mean, it's a big movie. We're going to go to the top 4 or 5 highest grossing runs, maybe 5. So we're going to go to November 26th, 2010, The King's Speech.
Mm-hmm.
So Oscar winner the following year. Very Oscar-y movie. Very good.
It is very good.
I can't say...
Jeffrey Rush.
He's very good. Tom Hooper, is he a good director? Probably not. But he did good with this movie.
The acting's sublime in it. Colin Firth, Helen Bonham Carter.
From the director of Cats, actually, this one. His career went downhill very fast. What do you think the budget now for The King's Speech was?
So I'm going to say 40 million.
$15 million. Very cheap, right? That was... But again, the
Brits know how to make better value for money movies, I think.
Yeah. I'm always quite...
Monuments Men cost what, like 90?
70.
Right, and you're like, is it a good use of money?
Oh, that movie is insanely expensive. It shouldn't be 70 million. So The King's Speech, you get a good value for money. It made $430 million worldwide.
I saw it at the cinema.
Here's one for you, Mel. Cast your mind back. May 25th, 2001, Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor is released in the theaters.
You know I love this movie.
You do love this movie. I have not seen it since then, and
I was also at the correct age as a teenage girl to watch this movie. Like, this was made for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty irresistibly good-looking love triangle, I imagine. It is a thoroughly good-looking people in...
And who doesn't love the parachute scene?
It's three different movies stapled together, or another way of putting it, it's like a 2 3/4 hour trailer. Either one is good. How much do you think that one cost?
That was expensive.
It was expensive.
And there's some battle scenes, there's a whole lot of aeroplanes, there's a whole lot of ships.
Can I give you a ballpark?
Yeah.
I think about it this way, like Kingdom of Heaven was about $110 million around the same era.
Okay.
So that's kind of what a big budget looked like. What do you think Pearl Harbor was?
So I think it cost more than that. So I'm going to say 160.
You've got that. It's $151.5 million.
So close.
So right in there. It made worldwide $449.2 million, which, if I remember right,
That's a very good return on investment.
I think it's about 700 million short of Titanic, which was his main competitor. So it didn't quite live up to that.
Yeah, but I saw it at the cinema.
We have agreed now we are going to be covering that movie.
Yeah, I've said it. We are absolutely.
It's coming. We don't know when, but it'll come now.
It's when I'm having a bad mum and I need to pick me up.
Yeah. When you get that episode in your feed, folks, it's going to be it's going to be an emotionally tough month. That's funny. It is like the war movie you want to cover where it's kind of nice. Everyone kind of survives. Well, not everyone. But
I mean, who doesn't love the boys flying in their Hawaiian shirts?
Yeah. It's like the best looking, troops in the airplane school at the beginning, whatever you call it. Yes, but there we go. So Pearl Harbor, that was it. They did pretty well. Let's move up. Top 3, Mel. July 24th, 1998, we do have to mention is Saving Private Ryan.
No, I did not see this at the cinema. I was too young.
I was too young.
There was no way my parents would have let me see this at the cinema.
I'm sure you did. I heard the reputation of the movie outside of... I remember in 98 people going like, yeah, that thing is unbelievable.
Yeah. Like, everyone says it's brilliant.
And terrifying.
Yes.
That opening sequence, of course.
And I heard Spielberg tell the story that he watched it with a bunch of World War II veterans who were at the D-Day landing, and he said they were all in tears.
I mean, it must have been incredibly powerful because I think it's hard to remember, nobody had made a war movie about D-Day that was like that movie.
With that level of intensity, I think so many British and American war movies, Russia's very different, weren't making them with that intensity.
No.
That scene, that speed, that agility, all that sort of stuff. It's intense, that scene.
Oh, yeah. This isn't like the John Wayne movie.
No.
You know, where he walks up and he says, well, if you're going to go up that beach and lay that pipe, you know, this is not that movie. It's horrifying, that opening scene. And Spielberg, of course, famously uses documentary cameramen to film it because he wants that documentary-esque feeling. So I'll give you a ballpark. I think, like, as another World War II movie, Schindler's List cost $25 million. So that's a ballpark of kind of where the costs are. I mean, a few years later, he makes Saving Private Ryan. How much do you think now that cost to make? So
Saving Private Ryan would have been a much bigger movie, but I'm also remembering it's 1998. I'm going to say 60 million?
Ooh, 65 million. I'll give you that. $65 million budget, which is just about right, comes in at the box office $485 million worldwide. Yeah, on my list, the third highest grossing World War II themed movie. The top two, we're getting into the big dollars now, made by the same director. So those of you who are listening will probably know where I'm going. July 21st, 2017, quite recent, Dunkirk. So,
do you know I still haven't seen this?
You haven't seen it? This is Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. So since you haven't seen it, I'll not make you do it, but it's worth mentioning.
No, make me do it. That's fine.
You sure?
So I've seen the trailer. Okay, so what'd you say, 2017? Okay, so it's a British movie. It's not going to have a ridiculous budget, but it's 2017, so I'm going to say 45 million.
I can see why you'd say that. I mean, the movie doesn't feel like the most expensive movie ever made, but it did cost $150 million.
Wow, that's a big budget.
Very big budget. I seen this in IMAX 3 times, but not really because I wanted to see it 3 times.
Is it any good?
It's not. I'll put it this way: I'm a contrarian to that movie.
Okay,
I don't think it's that great. People love it. It's universally praised as one of the best war movies ever. I'm mixed on it, to be frank. Technically very good, but it has that Nolan-esque thing where I feel like it's lacking depth and character. It's not about people, this movie. It's more about the vibe of being on the beach. That's what it's about.
So do you remember Light Toller from Titanic, the senior officer who survived that?
Yes.
And he's famous because he and a bunch of men were in the collapsible boat upside down that stood on it all night.
Oh, yeah, right.
He was at Dunkirk.
Really?
He was one of those British volunteers that got a boat and went over to Dunkirk and brought men back.
Wow. What a life. That's crazy. Imagine having experienced both of those things.
Yeah.
Wow, that's mad.
I mean, that's just the kind of person he was.
Yeah. But Dunkirk, $150 million. Worldwide box office was $512 million. This one jumps a lot in terms of revenue. This is probably, it must be, maybe the highest grossing World War II themed movie of all time. Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan back again. Top 2 highest grossing movies on the World War II list. Oppenheimer.
I don't love it.
We all know what it's about. We've all
seen it.
We all went to see Barbie.
It made a lot of money.
We all seen Barbie and went, well...
No, I didn't see Barbie at the cinema.
Oh, you didn't
Thank you very much.
I seen Barbie and I was like, well, I should probably see the other one. It was one Best Picture. Cillian Murphy did very good. Yeah, I'm very, very negative about this movie.
So Josh Hartnett is in it.
That's right.
From Pearl Harbor fame. He's actually very good in it, surprisingly.
I agree. He's terrific, actually. I feel like where have people been hiding him for 10 years, right?
I know.
He's really good in the movie. Let me just be clear. Everyone in the movie is great.
The acting is not the problem with this movie.
Totally true.
The issue is the story.
Yeah, my issue is more just the filmmaking. I actually was like, I described...
Why are we in a room in a committee for half of it?
Well, I described it to the person I went to. I feel like the movie's a 3-hour trailer for another movie because it's just such a montagey, edited together fruit salad of scenes.
Because they wanted to do a stupid bioepic.
Well,
and they shouldn't have done that. They should have just done Project Manhattan.
I mean, I saw this in IMAX. I was like, this is what Nolan wants me to do. He
doesn't.
He wants me to pay $40 to go see his movie in this giant 60-foot screen. And then when you realize that 90% of the movie is close-ups of people's faces, you go, why am I paying a premium price for this? You know what I mean? And I suppose my complaint was that I honestly think Nolan was like, I'm making a talkie movie about the internal existential struggle of a nuclear physicist.
Where's the existential struggle?
Well, that is my problem with it, because this movie has so little introversion to it that, like, I just look at it and go, I feel like every scene is just being yelled at me. The score is going blah, 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 blah. And the people are going blah, 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 blah. It's the worst things ever going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going like, just give me a minute of silence. Just one tiny minute of just silence. You've hired the best actors on the planet. You can kind of get out of their way.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Just let him act for a minute, because he just goes, fucking move the camera, cut 20 years, cut back 20 more years, black and white, do this, score this, more music. And you go like, just shut up for a minute. Because everyone kept on saying to me, God, isn't Cillian Murphy such a great actor? And I was like, he is. It's just a shame I didn't get to see him do it for more than 3 seconds before the bloody camera scene changed or some bullshit music came in. Let him act. Guys, fucking 50 years of experience. They keep going. Anyway, my rant is over. So the production budget, to conclude, is that Oppenheimer has a production budget of, do you know what it be?
I have no idea.
I'll let you out of your misery, shall I?
Just let me have a guess.
Oh, okay, right, okay, cool.
I'm going to say 300 million.
100 million, actually.
Okay.
Quite cheap.
So I'd say reasonably good value for money.
I would agree. I think you're right. I think he did it pretty cheaply, actually.
Which makes sense, because it's really a talky movie.
100%. Yeah. I think if you watch it again, you can kind of tell it's like 100 million worth of movie.
I haven't seen it again.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to.
I don't want to watch it again.
What for?
People tell me, they go, nah, you got to see it again. I'm always one of these people. I'm always very suspicious if I don't like a movie and someone goes, no, you got to see it twice to like it. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I have to see it twice.
It's not on the list, folks.
Yeah, it's not on the list. Maybe, I don't know.
No. I know. I don't want to have to spend a month watching that and thinking about it.
That's funny. So email in and force mail to do Oppenheimer if it's what you guys want. We'll do it. So $100 million. It made $970.5 million. So nearly $1 billion. I'm sure they'll release it a couple more times just to get it over that.
Yeah, of course.
That billion mark. And so that was it, Mel. That was the World War II list for how much did this movie cost.
Great list.